Hey, everybody, welcome into another edition of Sal's House. It's baseball season. Wake up, everybody. You've been hibernating through the winter. I actually think baseball season is kind of too long as much as I love baseball. I don't love having opening days in March when it's really cold out, and then the World Series going into what could be November. Remember Derek Jeter, Mr. November, when he hit some home runs? It's the shortest offseason. It is great, though, to know that we are at baseball season because then we know the weather's starting to turn, and we're looking forward to getting outside, watching some games. How about here in Buffalo? The Buffalo Bisons begin on Friday, opening day on Friday. Let's hope the rain holds off. It's going to be like 40 degrees, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Reminds me of when now Salem Field, back then Pilot Field, 1988 opened, and it was a pretty cold day out, and the Bisons had their very first game, and they won like 1-0 in that game. But listen, Thursday, you got the Yankees playing. I'm a big Yankees fan, obviously. Open up with the Milwaukee Brewers. The Yankees' first 3 series are against National League teams. Can't wait for baseball season. That's why I wanted to do a special Sal's House today. I got two special guests. All right. Howard Simon is going to join me. You know Howard. Of course you do. WGR, former morning show host on WGR, big Mets fan whose son works for the Yankees. Yep, that's right. And of course, Sal Maiorana, who's a huge Yankees fan, has a great Yankees newsletter. They're both going to join me. But before that, something really special for you. Now, I have some great sponsors here, including TSC Buffalo, tscbuffalo.com for all of your collectible needs, signings, private signings, public signings. If you have an auction coming up, you have a big event coming up, you want them to run your auction and bring a bunch of stuff, no cost to you, check them out at tscbuffalo.com. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street in Buffalo. We are planning a Sal's House NFL draft preview party at Sports City Pizza Pub in April. Make sure you stick around and listen for that on social and all of that at Sal Sports, all right? And of course, 3-2 Buffalo, 3andbuffalo.com. Don't want to forget about Herbal IQ. Of course, Herbal IQ, New York State licensed dispensary, Herbal IQ, where you want it. Listen, they're opening a brand new store. We're going to go out there. We're going to check it out over at Herbal IQ. They're at 6055 Transit Road in Depew. As soon as I have the address, I'll let you know about that. But a brand new store, New York State licensed dispensary. But how about 3-2 baseball? They've been with me here for about a month because they're doing a whole bunch of great things with training, baseball, teams, individuals, doesn't matter. My son goes there. His team goes there. A lot of you I've talked to go there. If you're in youth baseball, softball, 3-2 baseball. I went to 3-2 baseball recently. They have Tonawanda and Clarence locations. I talked with Grant Bickham, who joined me for a little preview. I want you to watch this. This is incredible what's going on at 3-2 baseball. Here it is, 3-2 baseball, one of our sponsors here at Sal's House. All right, I'm here with Grant Bickham. He is the Director of Player Development at 3-2 Baseball, an incredible facility, a couple of them in the area, Tonawanda and Clarence. We are here at the facility in Tonawanda. I always have trouble pronouncing the name of the road that it's on, Grant. What is it called?
I pronounce it Oriskany.
Oriskany. All right, it's in Tonawanda, 3-2 Baseball. It's awesome. This is a great spot to go if you're a player, a coach, a parent. You want to have basically the ability to play baseball year-round, to train baseball year-round. Tell me a little bit about 3-2 and how it came about.
3-2, I was a little late to the party. Ron kind of started. I came in about maybe 2 years after it opened, a year and a half. But when I came in, he was running the show all by himself, kind of working all day, every day. So over the time, I've kind of helped alleviate a little bit of that for him, which is nice. But yeah, all credit to Ron with that. He opened the place from scratch. Like, I think this used to be a plumbing warehouse. So
pretty amazing. We're going to look at and see what he's done with it. Ron Pilot, by the way, that is the founder and owner of 3-2. But since then, you guys have grown. You have a great staff. I mean, tell us a little bit about your staff.
Oh, the staff's awesome. When I started here, it was really just Ron, Matt Tyree, and Mike Nolan doing everything. Then I joined. We've had a couple in and outs, but us four have been pretty consistent, and then we just keep growing. And we have a good core, so it's pretty easy to be a little more selective on who we bring in. Mm-hmm. So we're bringing in a lot more quality guys, and it's awesome.
All right, so quality guys who know baseball. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in baseball.
I grew up in Lancaster, Ohio. Lancaster, not Lancaster.
I love it. All right.
That's how we know who's from there and who's not. Played baseball there, went to the Marine Corps, played on a Camp Lejeune team, which was a lot of fun. Then after that, came up here, went to Medaille, was there for less than a year. Didn't work out for me in college. But I've learned from my mistakes. And
it's all right. There you go. Use your other hand. There you go. All
right. Learn from my mistakes, and I kind of try to use that here to where I made the mistake, so hopefully my players don't have to.
Sure.
And then I just play in a men's league, and now I am the pitching coach for the Batavia Muck Dogs.
Wow.
last spring training, I went down for a week and assisted with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Did stuff with their guys. Victor Black, he's awesome.
Yeah. And obviously Paul Skeens with the Pirates now. You got to know him a little bit.
I didn't get to meet him firsthand. He was kind of like a celebrity there. So I did get to watch him throw, like from me to you.
Yeah.
But as far as interacting, then
all right. Well, maybe next time.
I was just more of an intern than anything.
All right, for sure. All right. So right now we're in the waiting room. This is a parent waiting room that we're in right now. So parents can come in here, they kind of hang out while their kids are training, while their team is practicing, whatever it is. We came in here a little while ago. There was a parent reading a book. I've watched some basketball here, hockey here, while my son's been here. Why don't you take us out this door and show us what's going on right now and what this is all about?
All righty. So the first thing you get outside of here is our HitTrax cage here. We have 2 screens right there, and then there's actually one in the back for the coach who's feeding the machine. And then this is kind of where everything, the motherboard of it, this is where everything happens.
This is kind of like when people go on golf simulators.
Very similar,
right?
Yes.
I mean, you hit the golf ball and it shows you where it is. You literally hit the baseball. You could be at Yankee Stadium or any other stadium pretty much.
Yes, and one of my favorite features of it, so I think we're on 10U with this one. So you can see center field's at 216. So it's still realistic for the kids to be able to put a ball deep in the gap over the fence.
Yeah.
Where if that was actual Yankee dimensions, granted they have a short porch, won't get into that, but a lot of kids would get defeated. So I like that we can maintain their confidence and still see real results.
Okay, very cool. So take us over here. You can see some teams playing right now and warming up. How about we do this? Let's go inside this little bay and you can show everybody kind of what this is all about. You walk in here. We'll do it right here. Check this out.
And while we're here, I'd actually like to, this is something not a lot of people notice. Those windows that we were just looking out, this is them. They're one way. That way players don't get distracted when mom and dad are in there with like little brother, little sister, but the parents can still see out here. Also, the TV that was on the wall right over there, it is fed the same screen that these are. So parents don't have to hover out here and watch. They can sit in there, read a book, watch basketball. It's usually a little colder in there during the summer, which is nice. And they can still see what their kid is doing.
All right, so we're standing here in the batter's box.
Yes.
Whether you're righty or lefty, doesn't matter.
Correct.
You have a great, hit zone. You got your tees. You got everything set up. What I'm curious about, and this is really cool, is it doesn't matter what size diamond you play on. You can set it up here with a mound. And how do you know if you want to go to 40 feet or 50 feet? Show everybody how you can do that.
All right, so once we get down here, our HitTrax cage is a little shorter. So we do have to do some math every once in a while to get reaction times. But we have markings on the wall. So we have a softball machine back here. When they come in, we have our 35 foot right here. So we can set that up. 46, so ages 10 and under pretty much. And then 50, we have it marked on the wall. So when we do have our older guys, we do have to kind of do some math to figure out the conversion, what it would be like from 50 feet. Very similar to what Williamsport does in the Little League World Series. When you see MLB equivalent, it's like 105. Same math.
All right, so the pitching machines, you have the pitching nets. This is, you can toss it underhand. You have the ones that go overhand as well. And check this out. You wheel around. Got some players playing baseball right now. They have a lot of room there. And this can actually open up. This net here can be lifted up, I guess, dragged back this way, right? And then
this one.
Okay, this one can't, but those other two can. So my fault. So this is strictly a pitching and batting bay right here. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of catchers do work in here as well with the machine. A lot of receiving work.
But that there, you can make it into a couple of different bays. You can actually put nets out. Tell us about that and how that can work, and you can transform that area.
Yeah. So I really enjoy seeing how creative people get here because we have 3 cages that can be individualized, or you can do 2-in-1, or you can be wide open like this. Where when I run practices, a lot of times I really enjoy setting up HitTrax. We'll do like a hitting, like velo. Then we'll have tee work. Then we have front toss, and then we'll have live at bats across in the final cage. So it's almost just kind of like working your way up, and then reset and work your way back up.
I love it. All right, so let's. And by the way, I love it. I love the dimensions. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Ron Pilot's a big Minnesota Twins fan. He actually made this look like the dimensions if you're playing in Minnesota.
He did, unfortunately, but he did.
That's all right. It's all right. So let's take everybody back this way. We'll go back in. You can see how there's a lot of how many. Look at 1, 2, 3 different, batting cages and batters boxes, I should say. And you can work with catchers, like you said over there. You guys tell us about and tell the people about the specialty pitching, catching, and hitting that you guys have for private lessons.
We offer a lot of different private lessons, and one of my favorite things to do is to point players in the right direction with who I think fits them best. I'm not in the money grab. Like, I'm not going to steal everybody as much as I want every pitcher to come in. Yeah. But there are some guys that, like, I would see Matt Tyree doing really well with, and those two would feed off each other. So I like to recommend players to who I think would correlate best with them. But we offer hitting, pitching, catching, pretty much any aspect of the game on our website, 3and2buffalo.com. You can go to private lessons, you can pick a name, and then under each name, it kind of gives a little bio of our playing history, what we offer, and what we expect out of our lessons.
All right, so it doesn't matter how young or older you are. If you want to take part, you have college teams, you have high school teams, you have kids of all ages. Baseball, softball, doesn't matter, right?
Correct.
It's for coaches, full teams. You can do all of that. And if you want to get stronger, let's show everybody how you can work out in the weight room and all the other cool things that go along with this. Again, 3-2 baseball. As we move on out here, tell everybody the website as we're walking through here.
3and2buffalo.com.
That's with an N. That's a number 3, the letter N, the number 2, buffalo.com. All right, this is going to be the weight room area and the training area. Tell us about it.
So back here, we call it our VIP room. This is really, like, this time of year, we get swamped with, like, teams, lessons. So this gives us an opportunity to still get work in, provides a little more space for us. And a lot of hitting is done back here. I really enjoy pitching. A lot of people get hesitant about pitching back here because it's shorter distance, but I like it because it forces players to focus on mechanics and actually do things right, not just throw it as hard as we can down range. And then we just have almost any training tool you can think of back here. I have 50 different bats of all different uses.
Amazing.
I use a lot of plyos. I'm big on med ball training this year, so a lot of med balls being thrown back here. I'm also big on video review.
Okay.
So, like, I have a stalker radar that connects to an app, so it does video with the velocity, all that stuff. But then once I get that information out here, I head back to my office over here. So, like, a lesson with me, you might spend 30 minutes out here where we do drills, throw, everything, and then the last 30 will come back in here. Oh, my computer shut off.
It's okay. We can fire it back up here if you want to show it, and you can see the. Can I turn the light on here so we can see this room here? Okay. All right, I got you. No problem. All right. Ooh, there's the projector.
But while that loads up, so back here is my office. A lot of, like, player meetings. We talk about what we can improve on, set goals. This was from today. One of my 13U players. I'm a test dummy for a company called PitchAware. I'm one of the first people to use this, and it gives a lot of great stats. So this was his bullpen information from today, where he was throwing, what pitches, where, all that kind of information. So yeah, this is where I make a lot of training plans. This is where I'll meet with coaches to talk about what they want out of their off season, their goals for individual players. I'll bring players and their parents back here. Like, what do you want from me and what can I do for you?
That's awesome
stuff.
All right. So as we head on back, I want to just give everybody the vitals on 3-2 and remind everybody what this is for. This is a training facility, baseball, but look at all the different ways that you can train. They got the weights here, obviously baseball, pitching, catching, hitting. It doesn't matter. I see the flat bat over there. My son has been doing the flat bat training with Ron. I mean, you guys do so much stuff, but if someone's watching right now, this is amazing. Maybe not for this year, maybe in the winter for next year, because now they're going outside. How do they start the process? What do they do to get in touch with you guys, and how they want to be involved?
So to get in touch with us, we make it as easy as possible for everybody, where we can be contacted through our website, the 3and2buffalo.com. You can pick your instructor there. We're on Facebook, and we are on Instagram as well under 3-2 Baseball.
All right. And of course, I'll talk more about it on the podcast. You'll see the logo, and you can see the link that I throw in as well. Before we go, you guys have one of the best summer tournaments of the year you put together, 3-2 Baseball. And I know it's been up in Lewiston. You can tell everybody if it still is, but man, good. You guys have some swag you give out.
Oh yeah.
What if there's some people out there looking for a tournament for whatever age level it is?
I do know we have a few openings still. We have over 200 teams come every summer, which is a lot. But if you are interested, the 3-2 website, once again, would be a good place to start. And I believe we have the link on there.
All right. Well, make sure you check it out, 3and2baseball.com. Grant Bickham. Thanks a lot, Grant. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Ron Pilot doing a great job here at 3-2. They got Tonawanda. They got Clarence. Always a short drive away from wherever you are if you want to train with baseball. Pretty amazing, huh? How about that? 3-2 Baseball, 3and2baseball.com. I mean, they didn't have stuff like that when I was a kid. Would have loved it, right? A great facility right there. Thank you. How about that camera work from Yana Capaccio? All right. Camera woman, Yana Capaccio, doing a great job. Listen, it's baseball season. We got opening day going on this week. Yankees start tomorrow. And of course, I can't talk baseball without my good buddy. Bringing him in right now, former WGR Sports Radio 550 morning show host, Howard Simon, joins me here on Sal's House. What's going on, buddy? Happy baseball season to you.
Hey, I just want to know, with Yana doing the camera work, it is finally nice to have some talent in the Capaccio family.
Yeah, I mean, we had to go outside. We had to go outside of me for a talent in the family. Yana, and then Max, of course, as
Max
well,
is
who goes to
talented
22.
too. So
He is,
Max
and you know
is
what?
good.
How cool is that? You watched a little bit of that video when you came in. How awesome are these facilities now for these guys, these kids?
Yeah, I could have used them. I heard what you said. I could have used them when I was playing Little League Baseball, Sal. It didn't take long before I realized I couldn't hit the curveball and I wouldn't have a career in baseball.
Yeah, listen, it's a really great facility. Check it out. In the meantime, we're going to be watching baseball. Howard's a big Mets fan. We know that. He doesn't shy from it. He wears his Mets fandom proudly on his cap, on his sleeve, his emotion, all of that. What does opening week mean for you for baseball, going back to when you were a kid and even now as an adult?
Oh man, opening day. I mean, Sal, back when we were kids, it was, get home from school right away so you could turn on the game. It was an afternoon game typically.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mets usually won on opening day. Like that's the deal, right? The Mets have the best record in opening day in Major League Baseball of all the teams right now. And when I was growing up, Tom Seaver usually pitched opening day and he was my favorite Met. So yeah, opening day was special. Couldn't wait to get there. Couldn't wait to get home, turn on the Mets and start another season of torment and suffering.
Well, this season doesn't have to be torment and suffering, although we know that the Mets have not won since 1986, not to rub salt in the wound, but they've come a lot closer in recent years. They have better ownership now. They're spending money. And of course, Juan Soto moves from the Yankees to the Mets. What's that like for you to see a guy like Juan Soto sign that type of contract with your team?
It's something that's never happened in the history of the Mets. For anybody, I don't care how long a Mets fan you are, and I've been 50 years or so. That moment never happened. As you know, Sal, I mean, the Mets, they're not in the same league, but in the same city, there was always the Yankees and the Mets were like the baby brother, and the Yankees won all the World Series and had all the history, and the Mets have won 2 World Championships since they were born in 1962. So, and we'll get into it. I know it doesn't mean, the Mets are locked for a World Series, but they just didn't do that. An elite level player in the prime of his career is on the open market, and the Mets took him away from the Yankees. That doesn't happen. That just never occurred because the Mets were the sad sack baseball franchise of the two. So it was a seminal moment. I really do believe that. And I think it does tie back to the ownership, to Steve Cohen. And I know high payroll doesn't mean anything. 2 years ago, the Mets had one of the highest payrolls in baseball and looked like crap. But with the Wilpons, that never would have happened. Mm-hmm. And I think Mets fans believe they now have ownership in place that gives the franchise a legitimate chance to do what you need to do, to build the farm system, to keep your top paid players, to go get a big free agent or a big salary if needed. With this ownership now, the Mets fans, I think, feel legitimately a World Series is possible.
All right, let's take a look at their actual lineup. For all those Mets fans out there, here we go. This is a projected lineup for the New York Mets. I pulled this, by the way, from MLB.com, so you could take a look at it and you can agree or disagree with what they wrote. It says the opening day lineup, which is tomorrow as well, Thursday, I should say, if you're watching this on Thursday. It's going to look a little different than the Mets' usual starting 9, since they'll be facing a left-hander on opening day, and then it says have his choice in center field. But what do you think about this lineup and the rotation?
Well, obviously, look at the top 3. I mean, you can stack them up with anybody. I mean, Lindor, if it wasn't for Ohtani, Lindor would have been the MVP in the National League last year. Soto, of course. I love the fact they re-signed Alonso and they bring his power back in the lineup. I liked Vientos. Vientos came on strong last season, had a really good playoff. I don't think he's going to be necessarily in the cleanup spot all season, but he's a good bat, Sal. And I think, you look at Nimmo. Nimmo needs to bounce back. His batting average, his on base percentage dropped. He needs to get that back up again. And they're missing 2 guys. Francisco Alvarez is injured. He's the starting catcher. And Jeff McNeil is injured. He's the starting second baseman. So they don't have a fully healthy lineup, but you add in Alvarez and for sure McNeil, when healthy, a really good hitter. And that's a tremendous lineup. I have no problem saying the Mets lineup is good enough to win a World Series. It's the starting pitching that is the issue.
Let's take a look at last year's MLB standings. The Mets obviously had a nice year last year, didn't ultimately get to their goal. As we see, the Yankees got to the World Series and played the LA Dodgers. But what do you think about? Let's take a look at the NL first. Mets finish in third place. They do wind up making the playoffs. What do you see differently anywhere, whether it's the East Division or anywhere else in the NL?
Well, the thing that stands out, and I think that's not going to change, although I got to tell you, I don't know how Milwaukee keeps letting key players go and still stays at the top of that division and in the playoffs. But no offense to American League fans. I think the National League was last season and will again this season clearly be the better of the two divisions. And I think that's one of the things that's problematic from a Mets fan standpoint, Sal. I think the Phillies roster is among the best in Major League Baseball. I'm still surprised, honestly, the Mets beat them in the division series. I think the Phillies had a better roster. Surely they had a much better starting pitching staff. The Braves are still going to be good. The Brewers are always good. The Dodgers are, I saw an article today, they're the new evil empire. And the Padres are always good. So that's the problem with the Mets. I mean, you're going to have a tough enough time even attempting to win your division, let alone secure one of those wild card spots. And then you've got to try and make a run to get out of the National League.
I just don't know how anybody beats the Dodgers. It's just amazing.
Oh my God, it's
what they have
ridiculous.
going on right now, right?
Yeah.
You look
and
at
when there were whispers that maybe the Dodgers could get Soto. And I'm getting to a point where as a baseball fan, I'd be like, someone tell the Dodgers they can't sign anybody else. Okay. Because it's obscene, the amount of talent and high payroll, of course, but man, Sal, it's crazy. I don't know. They just don't have a flaw. And I think they're still the team to beat.
How about the Yankees for you? Your son works for the New York Yankees and you are close to knowing a lot about that team. Obviously, Garrett Cole's injury is devastating. Louis Heal's going to be out for a little while, but otherwise they had a nice offseason outside of losing Soto. I know it sounds weird to say out loud, but it is kind of true. And I mean, they should be right back in the mix, but it's going to be really come down to the depth of that starting pitching now.
No, you and I talked about this, and I think it's an interesting point. The Yankees went into the offseason. They were not re-signed Juan Soto away from winning a world championship, right? They had a number of holes throughout the roster. So I think, honestly, as much as I'm sure it hurt to lose Soto because he's such an amazing hitter. They took that money and they used it in a number of different directions, pitching and hitting. And thankfully the pitching now, right? You didn't know Cole was going to come up injured, but the moves they made, I think made for a better roster, a better overall lineup. Yes, you lose a great player, but you took those assets and spread it out to cover multiple holes in the roster. So I think in the long run, overall, the Yankees will have a better roster, even though you don't have that guy. I know I'm not supposed to say I feel bad for the Yankees because I'm a Met fan, but you never cheer about anybody getting injured. That's bad karma. And I think Cole is a huge blow. I mean, that is a big loss for the Yankees. I think, honestly, Sal, but I think the pitching is still enough to get by. And I also think Giancarlo Stanton could be an X factor. He tormented the Mets for years when he was with the Marlins. And I know with the Yankees, it hasn't worked out and Yankee fans don't like his contract. If he plays like he did in the playoffs last year, that's a big difference because, you don't want it coming down to Aaron Judge has to carry the team and there are not enough options offensively.
Well, Howard, you're in Florida. I really appreciate you being in Florida and still jumping on it. It means a lot to me that you would take the time to do that. And we have a special treat here for you before you go. You did not know this, but Yankee fan Sal Maiorana is going to join us here right now as we bring him in on Sal's house. We have Howard and Sal, Mets fan Howard, Yankee fan Sal. What do you think of Howard's assessment of the Yankees, Sal?
All I have to say, Sal and Howard, is that karma is such a bitch that Howard's son works for the Yankees. Of all the teams for your son to get a job with, the team that you despised your whole life. That's pretty funny.
And look, I don't like to say anything nice about the Yankees, but from what he tells me, it's a very well-run organization. Yeah. He's got terrific bosses in the media relations department. They take good care of their employees. And it's a finely tuned business, the business side of the Yankees. I know the baseball side can drive both of you nuts. Sal, I'm a little worried about Sal Maiorana. I mean, we're getting really close to opening day, and I've yet to see a negative tweet from him about how bad the Yankees are. So, but he does tell me that they're an extremely well-run operation. I think a lot of people inside the building certainly respect what Brian Cashman does.
I'm interested in both your opinions on the facial hair thing. And for many years, right? I mean, people forget they did allow, I think Sal Blackjack McDowell had a little bit of, had the goatee. It was finely trimmed, right? I mean, we had some mustaches over the years with the Yankees, but what do you think, Sal, about the facial hair policy?
Yeah. Look, that policy was the stupidest policy. It was stupid in 1975 when Steinbrenner first, brought it out. And to have it go on for 50 years, especially in today's society where, as Sal's wearing one right now, I used to have a beard. It's no big deal. So it was a welcome. To me, it was fine. Now, again, they're going to do it. The well-groomed was the key words there. We're not going to see Brandon Marsh looking like Jesus playing with the pinstripes on. So I don't want to see that. But I'm all in favor of a Sal Capaccio goatee, or
Love it.
No problem at all with that.
I just wanted to show you guys something. I have a book that I've been reading.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this franchise.
The Yankee Way. Yes.
So
love it. I think I might know the author. I don't know.
Andy Martino.
No, I don't know. I
think he does SNY maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I think so a little bit. And then we have, speaking of books, and how about this? Great segue. Sal Maiorana has his amazing newsletter, and it's free, and people should subscribe to it. It's amazing, this passionate love that he puts into the Yankees for the newsletter, Howard, isn't it?
Passionate. Yep, that's the word.
I love it.
Passionate would be the word, right, Howard? It's a lot of work for free, but I hope the people that subscribe, as Sal does, I hope they appreciate it. So, we get that thing rolling for real tomorrow with the opening day.
Howard, when are you coming back to Buffalo, pal?
Next week. Sometime next week I'll be back.
Well, I'll be down. Where are you, on the East Coast or West Coast? Down
West Coast. Yeah,
West Coast.
An eye on your Yankees.
I love the West Coast. That's where I used to live, but I will be down in the West Palm area for the owners' meetings next week. So I'll be
slumming it again, huh? I'm sure you probably stand at an Econo Lodge, right?
Yeah, hey, I mean, I had to do it up for Odyssey to pay for all those expenses, as you know.
Yeah, Don't bring the golf club. It's a working trip.
I'll try not to. Howard, thank you for joining us. Thank you again for taking time out of your time in Florida to come on the show. Enjoy the Mets season. I'm sure we'll talk again. I still owe you lunch. I want everybody out there to know I still owe Howard lunch, and I'm going to make good on that, buddy.
Anytime. Glad to help out, Sal. Mr. Maiorana, you enjoy the baseball season. Always nice to see you, sir.
As well, you too, Howard. Take care, my friend.
See you guys.
All right, see ya. Sal Maiorana joining us here on Sal's House. Before I get to Sal and the New York Yankees, let me remind you once again, thank you very much, Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. Watch all the games. The MLB games are going to be on. You want to go down there, watch the games. They're all right there. It's a great spot to watch all the games. Sabres, hockey, NBA playoffs coming up, NHL playoffs. Of course, TSC Buffalo, tscbuffalo.com for all of your collectibles and signings, private signings, public signings. They'll take care of your auctions at any event you have going on. Herbal IQ, New York State licensed dispensary. Right now, 6055 Transit Road, but they are moving into a fantastic location right nearby. And of course, training at 3-2 Baseball, 3N2, the letter 2 baseball.com, Tonawanda, Clarence, whether you have a youth team, a player, somebody in your family, a friend, whatever, you want to train in baseball, you have a team that you want to bring out there, it's a really great spot. Sal Maiorana, Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. Subscribe to his newsletter about the New York Yankees. I do. It's fantastic. So, Sal, I just went over with Howard the Mets projected lineup. Let's do that with you here for the Yankees projected lineup opening day against the Milwaukee Brewers. I pulled this from MLB.com. It also says the Yankees have played more than 18,000 games in their history, and they've never had a catcher bat leadoff. That could change coming this season. Aaron Boone says he's seriously entertaining having Austin Wells be that guy, citing his on-base potential. Okay, the rotation and the lineup. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, Wells has had a tremendous spring. There's been no doubt about it. They don't have a leadoff hitter, a traditional leadoff hitter, Sal. They haven't for, it feels like forever. They couldn't get one last year. Volpe failed. Glaber came on at the end of last season and did a decent job. So, yeah, I think against right-handed pitching, I think Wells could be the guy. But the thing with Wells is he can't play every day. He's a catcher. So they're going to need other options up at the top of that order. And quite frankly, I just don't know who it's going to be. I mean, look at the guys on that list that you have right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've tried Volpe. It has not worked for him. He does not get on base nearly enough. He has a career 288 on base. That's just not good enough. They tried Dominguez early in the spring. I don't know as a rookie if he's ready for that. They even tried Goldschmidt in a game last week in spring training at the leadoff spot. Chisholm, I guess, could be the guy. So I don't know. I mean, Austin Wells might be the best option because he does have a decent enough on-base percentage. So it's going to be a tricky situation all year for the Yankees there.
Do you think, I mean, Oswaldo Cabrera, I'm sorry, can't do it. I'm looking, I mean, there's no possible way a guy like Ben Rice could eventually turn into a guy like that, right? He's not that type of player.
I don't think he is. Plus, he does have some pop in his bat. I think you would like to keep him out of that leadoff spot. That is really one of the trickiest questions that Boone has got to figure out going into the season, because there just is not the obvious option, Sal, would be Volpe if he could ever change his approach and become a guy who can draw some walks and get on base. Until that happens, you're looking at what it might be come opening day.
What about defensively? What do you like or not like about this group?
Wells started off great last year at the plate, finished terrible. In between, he was one of the best catchers in baseball. And the key was not only the bat, he was actually a pretty good receiver of the ball. He learned the pitching staff. So I think he's solid behind the plate. Moving Judge back to right field, that's his preferred position. Get him out of center. Bellinger is still a very good center fielder, so that's going to be good. Moving Chisholm back to second base. That's his natural position. He tried to learn third base. Good for him. But he's better off at second.
And he's probably better off than Gleyber Torres being there, right?
Absolutely. That's a big upgrade from Gleyber. Right. And, the big key is going to be third base and left field. Dominguez, we saw the struggles in spring training. I will say the last month, though, not quite a month, 3 weeks, he's actually been out of the news, which means he's not dropping fly balls. So that'll be a work in progress. And then third base is a problem, regardless of who's there. I mean, Cabrera and Peraza are both decent glove guys. Neither one of them can hit a lick. So that's going to be an issue until they figure that out. But defensively, even Goldschmidt at first base is probably going to be an upgrade over Rizzo last year. So I think they're in good shape defensively. And let's face it, they're going to have to be, because their rotation, as I'm sure we're going to get to, is decimated right now. And they've also lost Juan Soto's offense. So they're going to need to be pretty good at run prevention.
All right. So you mentioned it, the rotation. Obviously, they lose Garrett Cole for the year. That's just a massive, massive blow. Louis Heel, reigning rookie of the year, he's out for a few months. They did do some work in the offseason, and it's really funny, isn't it, that Marcus Stroman now actually does become one of their main starters.
Yeah, they tried to trade him for probably a couple months in the offseason and never did it, and now it's a good thing. So, look, the bottom three, there's a problem there. They're going to have Rodon's going to pitch opening day, but Fried is actually now the ace of the staff. Yep. And I think Rodon is going to be okay. People gave him a lot of grief last year, but when you really dive into the numbers, he was pretty solid for the Yankees. He had one bad stretch from mid-June to mid-July. He was terrible. You take that out of his season, he had a really good season. He pitched, I think he had 16 games where he went at least 6 innings. So that's pretty solid stuff. And he had an under 4 ERA. I think he'll be fine. I think Fried is great. But then, man, oh man, Stroman, Will Warren, Carlos Carrasco, that is going to be, there's going to be days where the Yankees better hit and better score, because I don't trust any of those guys to get more than 4 or 5 innings. And I'm not even sure what you're going to get in those 4 or 5 innings. It's a big problem for the Yankees.
All right, let's take a look overall about where the Yankees stand in the American League and what you see from the American League compared to last year. These are the standings of last year. Obviously, the Yankees win the East. They go on, they play and lose in the World Series to the LA Dodgers. What have you seen from the other teams in the East? The Red Sox seem like they've made some really important moves. Boy, Baltimore was disappointing to me last year. I'll say that, Sal. And I don't know if they've gotten much better. I don't know if they're going to have a rebound from what I expected. And of course, a big storyline with the Toronto Blue Jays will be the pending free agency of Vlad Guerrero as well. What do you see from the East and then overall in the American League?
Yeah, as usual, the East is going to be tough to get through. Baltimore, I think I spent 5 months last year, Sal, waiting for Baltimore to turn it on and overtake the Yankees. And it never happened. They've got a great young core of players, but their pitching is not great. And they really did nothing in the offseason to upgrade it. So I wonder about the Orioles. I still think they're a fabulously talented team. And if that young core comes together the way we thought it would last year, I think they're going to be a big problem. But they still need to solve some pitching issues. So that'll be that'll be weird to watch them, see where they go. Boston's the team. I think I talked to you maybe a few weeks ago about Boston.
Mm-hmm.
That's the team that worries me. They started to come on at the end of last year. They got some of their young kids in the lineup in September, and they've got some really, really outstanding prospects who are, I'm not sure if they've broken camp with the team, but they're going to be in play pretty soon here. And they made some great offseason additions. Crochet will be, probably their ace of their pitching staff. Bregman is going to be terrific for them. Getting Devers off of third base and into DH will probably help them. That's a team I'm worried about. I think we're going to see, after several dormant years, the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry is going to be back on high pitch again this year. As for Tampa, I don't know. They just lost McClanahan, who I think is their ace. They got a lot of good pitchers, but I think he's going to be down for a while. And I don't know what to expect from the Blue Jays. You're right. The Guerrero thing is going to probably linger for a little while, but I'm not sure that they have a whole lot of – they don't have enough, I don't think, to really give those top three teams a worry in the AL East.
Central Division, the Cleveland Guardians seem to always have a really solid team, but just don't have enough in the end. And we all seen what the Astros have done the last several years, but it feels like they're a team that's maybe on the downside of where they've been.
Yeah, the Astros, they've lost too many good players through the years.
Mm-hmm.
Bregman, they just lost. They traded Presley to the Cubs. Kyle Tucker, they traded to the Cubs, probably their best player. So they're going to be down a little bit, but there's really nobody in that division.
Yeah.
That's going to be probably, Sal, one of the best divisions to watch, because there are a few teams. I would say Houston, Seattle, and Texas are all pretty close to each other. Texas might be the team, though, that jumps up. That was the World Series champ in 23, and then they had just a bad year last season. They had injuries. It just fell apart for them, as you can see with their record there. I think those guys are going to bounce back, and I would say they're probably the favorite in that division now. And then Seattle, great pitching. They can't hit at all. So I don't know what they're going to do there, but I think that's going to be a good three-team race over in that division.
I gave Howard a little time to talk about the AL and the Yankees. I'll give you a little time to talk about the Mets. And, of course, a team that you follow pretty closely, the Cubs in the National League.
Yeah, the Mets are going to be a very good team, Howard. But, man, they've got the Phillies and Braves in front of them. Those are two great teams.
Yeah.
So no matter how much money Steve Cohen has spent, you look at their pitching staff, they're not there as far as a rotation. They've also got some injuries. Manaya's down. The other guy that I'm forgetting is also injured. They've got pitching problems. They're going to be able to hit. They've got a nice lineup, and Soto will be Soto. Obviously he's going to have a great year for them, but they're going to struggle. They're probably a wild card team. I've heard a lot of talk. We all know the Dodgers are going to be a wagon. They might be one of the best teams in the history of baseball, at least their roster, top to bottom. The Braves, if they stay healthy, which they did not last year, that's going to be a really good team, Sal. They're going to give, if they end up playing the Dodgers in the NL Championship, that'll be a hell of a series to watch.
All right, Sal Maiorana. By the way, just want to show everybody what it's like here if you want to go and subscribe to Sal's newsletter. All right, it's called Pinstripe People. I'm going to put it on the screen. Look at that, Sal. There it is, buddy. Pinstripe
There
People. People can go in and just search for it, Pinstripe People, and you can just put your email in there. You can subscribe to it. It's a free newsletter. If you're passionate about the Yankees, you love the Yankees, and all other baseball stuff too, but specifically about the New York Yankees from Sal. And I like when you go back and a lot of the retro stuff that you do. It's really fun. And just last night, I'm sitting down, you get on MSG and you see like the old games. They had the 98 opener on last night, actually. And Max is with me, and he's now to the age where he's paying attention to a lot of this stuff. He loves Derek Jeter, even though he never watched him play actually live, and he wasn't really of that time period. But anyway, he's batting, and he's like, Dad, was this Jeter's rookie year? I'm like, no, a couple of years in. He's like, well, what was this season? I had to explain to him. They won the World Series. And I went back and looked. 13-12. They beat the 17-13 was the score, I think, against the A's. Yep. 17-13 on an opening day at home.
Yep, I remember that game. That was the first indication that team might be pretty good. And they scored 17 runs on opening day. For that newsletter, it's on the top of my Twitter feed too, Sal.
There you go. Thank you.
I got it. It's my pinned tweet, so you just click that and you can go right in.
If anybody wants to.
Yeah, that 98 team. We spend Wednesdays at the newsletter. I do. Right now I'm in the middle of a project, every Wednesday I'm recapping every one of their World Series championships. So I think I fact Wednesdays. Today's Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, today's was 1956, the year Larson threw the perfect game. So that continues for a little while. And then every Wednesday I do some kind of look back to Yankee history. And then the newsletter this year, I'm going back to recapping each series rather than doing the daily because that was just too much work. So every time the series ends, whether it's going to be on Thursday morning or Friday morning, you'll get a look back to the weekday series. And then on Monday morning, you get a newsletter going through the weekend series. So that's how it's going to play out this year. I always appreciate you pumping it up because whenever you do, Sal, I get an instant bump in subscription, which, because it's free, it's nice to have more people that I'm writing for because it makes me feel like I'm writing for a bigger audience. So I really appreciate you doing this for me.
No problem at all. And it's my pleasure. And I'll do that again. So if you follow me as well at Sal Sports, I will put in and direct you to where you can get the newsletter from Sal. It's called Pinstripe People. Also looking forward to April. At the end of the April is the NFL draft. It's so funny because I'm looking at the times when we are at the Bills facility on the second night. Sal will have his iPad open watching the Yankees play as we are going through round number 2 and 3 of the draft. And it's always great. It's so fun.
Yep. I got the double screen working. Got to pay attention, man.
No doubt.
It's like I'm covering 2 teams, Sal. Really, cover the Bills full time. Once baseball starts, it's like I'm covering the Yankees full time too. It's nuts.
I know. Well, listen, buddy, enjoy it. Thanks a lot for doing this today. I really appreciate it. And again, Pinstripe People's the newsletter at Sal Maiorana on Twitter, but I'll direct people over there. But thanks a lot for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you, Sal. Take care, buddy.
All right, you got it. That is Sal Maiorana. We're going to let him go, and we'll tell you again about all of our great sponsors here on Sal's House. We thank them so much. TSC Buffalo, tscbuffalo.com for all of your collectibles needs. And again, one of the things they're doing, they want me to make sure I tell everybody, if you have an event coming up this summer, a golf tournament, a charity auction, a charity event to raise money, a foundation, whatever it is, get in touch with TSC Buffalo. They will actually bring and run an auction for you with like items, signed items, helmets, jerseys, things like that. They'll run it for you. No cost to you. Just let them do it. And it's going to help raise money for your event. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. And of course, they have all the games going on. They have the MLB, opening day happening on Thursday. Yankees, Mets, doesn't matter. And then the rest of the season, they have a great patio space. Hang outside, watch the games. NHL playoffs are coming up. NBA playoffs are coming up. It's all right there. And of course, football season as well. And great beer, great pizza, great wings, all the drinks, doesn't matter. Everything you need at Sports City Pizza Pub. Herbal IQ, New York State licensed dispensary, 6055 Transit Road in Depew. They are moving into a brand new, fantastic location that we're going to show you sometime soon here on Sal's House. I can't wait to show you because it's going to be absolutely awesome and fantastic. Again, Herbal IQ, New York State licensed dispensary. And then finally, 3 and 2 baseball. It's 3 and 2, but if you go online, it's the number 3, the letter N, the number 2, baseball.com. You saw the video early on. If you missed it, go rewind, check it out. Grant Bickham joined me. Ron Pilas doing a great job. You want to join one of their tournaments? They have great swag for all you U teams out there. Baseball, softball, doesn't matter. And of course, private lessons, pitching, catching, hitting, infield, outfield, doesn't matter. They're right there for you. Check them out, 3and2baseball.com. You got a high school team. I was just there the other day. I saw one of the local high school teams all in there. They were crushing it. They were using the pitching machine. They were throwing. They were catching. It was great. Great to see that. Youth baseball, 3and2baseball.com. Thanks a lot to Colin Ritchie, my producer, as always, here on Sal's House. All right, one more reminder for everybody. We are going to be doing scheduling, and hopefully it works out. It should. A Sal's House NFL pre-draft party and preview at Sports City Pizza Pub coming up. We are eyeing April 22nd. So hopefully it works out. I got to check the schedule, make sure it does with everybody. Going to have some draft guests on, going to have some media guests on. Make sure you plan on coming out to Sports City Pizza Pub. As of now, April 22nd, right around 7 o'clock. We'll have more information at Sal Sports and as Sal's House goes on. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for coming into Sal's House.